The next time you're in the outdoors, ask yourself, are you really in the moment? Hello again and welcome back to another episode of Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. I am your host, Jason. I think it's safe to say that most of us out there have pretty busy lives. I know in my own life, our family seems to be constantly moving and going between work and school activities and getting things done around the house. It really, leaves little time to enjoy getting outdoors. And I recently was listening to another podcast about a woman who was going about her busy life. And she was riding her bicycle and was struck by a car and was in a really bad accident. Now, she survived the accident, but the accident changed her life. She suffered a broken shoulder and a really bad concussion. It was such a bad head injury that she couldn't do anything without getting really bad headaches. And she couldn't read. She couldn't text on her phone. She couldn't communicate with people. She even had a hard time handling a birthday party for one of her kids. It was like everything was sensory overload for her. Everything she would do or focus on would just be way too much, and she'd really just get these really bad headaches that would pretty much just put her out of commission. And she's found that one of the best ways to cope through her problem and kind of heal through the concussion is to sit on the shoreline and just watch and listen to the waves. In her story, she tells about how she basically can sit for hours just staring at the water and listening to the waves and just relaxing. And those have become some of the best moments in her life at this point because there's no distractions. There's nothing bothering her. There's no loud noises of traffic, work, or just life in general is just gone for those few hours a day when she just sits there and listens to the ocean. And she talks about how it's kind of the first time she's been able to really focus on anything and not get a headache since her accident. And she truly is, at that point, living in the moment and taking in her surroundings and just being for hours at a time. And I was thinking about that as I'm listening to this podcast, about how we as outdoor enthusiasts maybe take that for granted a little bit. We all probably consider ourselves weekend warriors mostly. You work all week and the weekend comes and you try to get as much crammed into that weekend as you can. And we sometimes tend to do that with our outdoor activities, whether it is hunting or fishing or hiking, biking, whatever it is. You try to get as much of that in as you can so that you feel like you have spent your weekend accomplishing something or doing something that you enjoy. As important as that is, and as great as that sounds, you might be missing out on those moments, those times where you can just be in that moment and just soak up everything that you're doing. You're so focused on hurrying up to get in the next hike or get that extra mile in that maybe you're missing out on something little bit more important out of the whole experience. And I'll be honest, I've been guilty of not being in the moment and just going to an event or hiking a trail without really stopping to take it in. I think we've all done that. The whole reason we seek to get outdoors is to get away from our busy lives. So why do we tend to make our outdoor activities part of that busy life? Why don't we try to take more time to be in that moment? Aren't we missing the whole point of being outdoors when we don't take time to be in the moment? And that's why I want to offer a few tips on how to be in the moment more and get the most out of your outdoors, to just learn to enjoy being out there and not rushing the process, to just take your time to do that. So the first thing that I want you to try to do the next time you're out is leave the phone in your pocket. Now, I didn't say leave it in your car or leave it at home, because I am not going to tell you to leave your phone at home. I know I couldn't do that. My phone is too important to me to just leave it at home and go on a trip someplace. I mean, today's smartphones just offer a lot when it comes to enjoying the outdoors. They provide maps. If you're like me, you use your phone to navigate how to get to where you want to go. And once you get there, there's activity trackers. And, if you're lucky enough, the place you're at has a trail map app, you can go there and use that as well. So there are advantages to taking your phone. And of course, the biggest advantage, in my opinion, is that it's got a camera. It's so much easier to take your phone and get great images of the things you want to capture when you're out in that moment. And honestly, sometimes your phone is the only camera that you have. And at that point, it's the best camera that you have. But what I'm going to suggest is that after you've set up your activity tracker or, you've taken a few pictures, that you stick the phone in your pocket and you just forget about it. Put it on airplane mode if you can, and just let the world wait for you to come back to it and reconnect. You don't need to text or return an email. It can wait. You're outdoors to enjoy the outdoors, and your phone and all the world that goes with your phone will be there when you get back to your car or even when you get home. If you're enjoying your outdoor adventure with a friend, ask them to do the same thing and enjoy that moment together. Put the world in your pocket for a few moments and just enjoy being where you are. The only time you need to really grab the phone, like I said, is to capture that moment. And remind yourself later about what a great time you had just disconnecting for a while. Now, this next tip is one that I'm probably more guilty of than anything else, and that is giving yourself time. Sometimes I feel like I don't allow myself enough time to simply take time when I'm outdoors. Sometimes our lives have so much going on that we schedule our outdoor fun and only leave a few hours to get out and enjoy it. And I think we've all been there. You're going here or going there, you got this activity, and you go, we've got like 3 hours, let's go do a hike here. While you're on the hike, eventually you look down at your watch and go, whoa, our 3 hours is almost up, we got to hurry up and get out of here. You don't really take the time to enjoy what's going on. You're still getting some of the benefits of being outside, but you're just not enjoying the moment. And by rushing, you're not giving yourself time to enjoy the moment. Our family has been hiking, and we've had to keep an eye on the time because of other commitments. And sometimes we've taken a late afternoon hike, and we've got to watch the time because it gets dark. And when we do that, I feel sometimes we don't even have time to just take 15 minutes and sit in a location and take it in. Give yourself time, whether it's a day or a half a day. Give yourself enough time in that day that you're not going to feel rushed, that you're going to enjoy your hikes, or you're going to enjoy your fishing trips, or you're just going to enjoy an event that you want to attend, that you don't put yourself on a schedule when you do your outdoor activity. Be in the moment. Enjoy the moment. Don't rush is the biggest thing I can say. Just don't rush. By giving yourself time, you're giving yourself the time to be in the moment and enjoy the moment and not feel rushed to hurry through whatever activity you're doing. That's going to be my biggest tip out of all of this right now, is just give yourself time. When you give yourself time, it allows you to do the other things more easily. My last tip is probably the most important one for you to truly enjoy the moment that you're in. And it's actually the simplest one. It's just sit and listen. Now, if you've ever been deer hunting, you've experienced the calm and quiet of the woods because you have to just sit and listen. You sit for hours sometimes and you just listen to the symphony of the woods. Or if you're fishing on a lake early in the morning, you've also experienced that calm before the busyness of all the other fishermen who come out there and start their days. And those moments are some of the best moments you will experience in the outdoors. It's those times where you just sit and listen. Now, whether that's 15 minutes or an hour, just sit and take in your surroundings. If you're on a hiking trail with benches, stop, sit, and listen for 15 minutes. Take a break. Again, it goes back to the time. If you give yourself time to do a nice hike, you're going to have time to sit and listen and not feel like you're rushing. Take it in and remind yourself why you're out there doing this and why you enjoy it so much. It's because you're leaving your everyday world behind and you're in the moment that you're currently in. So please, next time you're out there, just sit and listen. Now, I know it's only 3 tips that I've given you, but I think those 3 tips are the most important ones that I can give you. Stay off your phone, give yourself time, and just sit and listen. If you do those 3 things, I think you'll find that you're in the moment more than you ever have been before. Now, there are studies out there that say how important it is for us to relax our minds once in a while. It allows us to be more productive and focus on other tasks better than if we would just go from one task to the next. And I think we all can relate to this. I mean, how many times have you been working, no matter what you've been working on, you come across a problem and you struggle for it a little bit and you just decide, you know what, I'm going to walk away from this for 15 minutes, and you end up returning and you figure it out. And those are the type of breaks that help your mind relax, take a break, pause, and rethink. It kind of rejuvenates you a little bit. And just think, if a quick 5-minute break can have that big of an effect, imagine how much good a day outdoors would do for your health if you just be in the moment and completely and totally relax. That is my challenge to you next time you go out. Be in the moment. Don't take a phone. Give yourself time and just sit and listen. Remember these few tips the next time you head outdoors and really live in the moment as one of Wisconsin's outdoor explorers. Hey, thanks again for joining me. I'm your host, Jason, and I'll talk to you again next week. Thanks for listening to the Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. For more great information about being an outdoor explorer, visit our website at wisconsinsoutdoorexplorer.com. Be sure to check out the blog page and follow us on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.